Emily woke up before the sun every morning. Her small apartment was quiet except for the soft breathing of her daughter Lily still asleep in the next room. Being a single mom was not easy, but Emily never let it show. She quietly got ready for work, packed Lily's lunch and kissed her forehead before leaving. Emily worked as an office manager at a medium-sized company downtown. The company wasn't huge, but it was stable and gave her the chance to support Lily on her own. Emily was good at her job. She kept things running smoothly, handled tough schedules, and was always ready to help her team. The CEO of the company was Mr. Harris. People said he was strict and hard to please. He believed employees should put work first, always. Many whispered that he didn't like anyone who had distractions outside of work. Emily knew that meant things like kids, families, or any life problems that could get in the way. She had heard from coworkers that Mr. Harris thought a good employee was someone who could work late, come in early, and never take a day off. Despite the pressure, Emily managed to balance it all. She dropped Lily off at daycare every morning and worked long hours, sometimes staying late when the office was busy. Her paycheck wasn't just money, it was hope for a better future for Lily. Emily believed that if she worked hard enough, things would get easier, but deep down she worried. She knew the CEO's views might one day cause trouble for her. Still, Emily held on to hope, determined to do her best no matter what. One ordinary Tuesday afternoon, Emily was working at her desk when her phone rang. It was the receptionist, asking her to come to the CEO's office immediately. Her heart skipped a beat. She wasn't sure why Mr. Harris wanted to see her. She took a deep breath and walked down the quiet hallway, trying to prepare herself for anything. When Emily entered the CEO's office, Mr. Harris was sitting behind his large desk looking serious. He didn't smile or greet her warmly. Instead, he cut straight to the point. "Emily," he said, "I'm afraid we have to let you go." Emily blinked, stunned. "What? Why?" Mr. Harris leaned back and crossed his arms. "Frankly, being a single mom makes you less reliable. You have responsibilities outside of work that interfere with your job. We need people who can put this company first." Emily's chest tightened. She felt like the air had been knocked out of her. "But I've never missed a deadline. I work late when it's needed. I always get my job done." Mr. Harris shook his head. "It's not about what you say, it's about what we think is best for the company. We can't afford distractions." Emily tried to explain that she managed both her work and her daughter carefully, that she was committed and dependable, but Mr. Harris wasn't interested in hearing more. His decision was final. The room felt cold and unfair. Emily looked down at her hands, fighting tears she didn't want to show. She wanted to scream, to demand justice, but all she could do was quietly gather her things. As she walked out of the office, the weight of what just happened pressed down on her. She felt crushed, not just for herself, but for Lily. How would she explain this? How would she find another job that understood her situation? Emily's mind raced with worry. The future suddenly seemed uncertain and scary. She knew this was more than just losing a job. It was about being judged unfairly for something she couldn't change, and that hurt more than anything. That evening, Emily sat at the small kitchen table, her hands trembling as she tried to focus on making dinner. Lily, her 6-year-old daughter, played quietly nearby, unaware of the storm brewing inside her mother's heart. Emily forced a smile as she served Lily her favorite meal, but the tightness in her chest made it hard to breathe. After dinner, Lily climbed onto Emily's lap, wrapping her tiny arms around her. "Mommy, why are you sad?" she asked softly. Emily swallowed hard, blinking back tears. "I'm not sad, sweetheart, just a little tired." But inside, Emily was breaking. She worried about how she would pay the rent next month. The bills stacking up on the counter seemed taller than ever. How could she provide for Lily without a job? And what would happen if they lost their home? The thought made her heart ache. Later that night, Emily's phone buzzed with a message from Sarah, her close friend and coworker. Sarah had heard what happened and wanted to check in. "Emily, I'm so sorry, you don't deserve this. If you need anything, I'm here," the message read. Emily felt a small spark of hope. Sarah believed in her, and that meant the world. They met the next day for coffee and Sarah told her, "You have to fight this. You're not just standing up for yourself, you're standing up for all the single moms out there. We can't let people like Mr. Harris get away with this." Her words struck a chord. Emily realized she wasn't alone. So many people in the company and beyond had faced the same unfair treatment. It wasn't just about losing her job, it was about making things right for everyone who struggled to balance work and family. That night, as she tucked Lily into bed, Emily made a silent promise: she would fight back. Not because it would be easy, but because it was the right thing to do. For Lily, for herself, and for every single parent who deserved respect and fairness. Emily's fear hadn't disappeared, but now it was mixed with determination. The road ahead would be hard, but she was ready to face it. Later that same day, Mr. Harris sat in the sleek boardroom, briefing the company's board members about the decision to fire Emily. His tone was cold and businesslike as he explained his reasons. "She's a single mom," he said bluntly. "That makes her less reliable. It's a risk we can't take." The room fell silent. Then one of the board members, a woman named Mrs. Garcia, spoke up sharply. "Are you serious? You fired her because she's a single mom?" Another member, Mr. Patel, nodded in agreement, his face tight with disbelief. "That's discrimination. This company stands for fairness. You can't just let personal biases decide who stays or goes." Some board members shared quietly that they had family in similar situations, single parents working hard to provide for their kids. They couldn't believe the CEO's harsh judgment. The conversation grew more heated as the board realized how dangerous Mr. Harris's decision was for the company's reputation. They worried about lawsuits, bad publicity, and the impact on employee morale. That very night, Mr. Harris's phone rang. It was the board chair, Mr. Thompson. "We need to talk," Mr. Thompson said sternly. "What you did today was unacceptable. Firing Emily for being a single mom is not just wrong, it's illegal. This could ruin the company's image and cost us dearly in court." Mr. Harris tried to defend himself, saying he only wanted the best for the business. But the board wasn't buying it. "We expect you to reverse this decision immediately," Mr. Thompson warned. "If you don't, there will be consequences. We will consider serious actions, including removing you from your position." Mr. Harris felt the weight of their words. For the first time, he realized that the board wouldn't stand for discrimination. The company was bigger than his personal opinions. As the call ended, Mr. Harris sat alone in his office, the quiet hum of the city outside contrasting with the storm inside. The board had made it clear, there would be no tolerance for injustice. And the next steps the company took would change everything. The morning after her meeting with Sarah, Emily gathered her courage and walked into the Human Resources office. She handed over a formal complaint, explaining everything: the unfair firing, the reason Mr. Harris gave, and how it felt like discrimination against her because she was a single mom. The HR manager listened carefully, and promised the complaint would be taken seriously. News of Emily's situation spread quietly but quickly through the office. Co-workers whispered in hallways and exchanged concerned glances. Many admired Emily's bravery for speaking up. Some shared their own stories of struggles juggling work and family, while others admitted they had been too scared to say anything before. Slowly, a wave of support began to grow. One afternoon, Emily received a surprising message from a senior executive named Mr. Collins. He was well known in the company, but kept a low profile. His message was private and kind. "Emily, I've heard what happened. I want you to know you're not alone. If you need help navigating this, I'm here. The board is watching closely, and I believe things will change." Emily's heart lifted. She hadn't expected such support from someone so high up. Mr. Collins met with her a few times, offering advice and explaining the company's policies on discrimination and workers' rights. His encouragement gave Emily new strength. Behind the scenes, the board began a full investigation into Mr. Harris's actions and management style. They interviewed employees, reviewed company records, and examined how the CEO made decisions. The more they learned, the more concerns they uncovered, not just about this incident, but about a culture of fear and unfair treatment under Mr. Harris. The CEO, meanwhile, grew defensive. He held meetings trying to justify his decision, insisting that loyalty to work was the top priority. But his words fell flat. Employees started feeling empowered, talking openly about their rights and demanding respect for their personal lives. A change was coming, even if Mr. Harris didn't want to admit it. The company began shifting from a place where people hid their struggles to one where they could speak up without fear. Emily's fight was the spark that ignited this new spirit. As the investigation moved forward, tension filled the office. Everyone waited anxiously to see what the board would do next. Emily, once scared and uncertain, now felt a quiet confidence. She knew standing up wasn't just about her, it was about making her workplace a better place for everyone. And no matter what happened, she was ready to keep fighting. After weeks of careful investigation, the board finally gathered to review their findings. The evidence was clear: Mr. Harris had acted unfairly and discriminated against Emily because she was a single mom. His decision went against the company's values and policies, and it could no longer be ignored. The board wasted no time. They called Mr. Harris in for a final meeting and gave him a choice: step down from his position as CEO or face being fired by the board. The message was firm and serious. Harris realized his time at the company was coming to an end. With the CEO's future decided, the board turned their attention to Emily. They reached out to her with an offer to return to her job, along with a formal apology for the pain and stress she had endured. Emily felt a mixture of relief and pride. The apology wasn't just words, it was an acknowledgement that what happened was wrong, and that her fight had made a difference. The company didn't stop there. They announced new policies designed to support employees who were parents, especially single parents like Emily. These changes included flexible work hours, better parental leave, and strict rules against discrimination of any kind. Training sessions were planned to help everyone understand and respect the challenges their co-workers faced outside the office. Emily watched as the company began to change before her eyes. What once felt like a cold, unwelcoming place now felt warmer, more understanding. The new leadership promised to build a culture where every employee could bring their whole self to work without fear. For Emily, the journey had been hard, but she had stood up not only for herself, but for others who might face similar struggles. She felt stronger than ever and hopeful about what the future held. She thought of Lily and smiled, knowing she had shown her daughter the power of courage and the importance of fairness. Emily's fight had been about more than a job, it was about respect, dignity, and making sure no one else had to suffer the way she did. And in that moment, she knew that change was possible. Because sometimes, standing up for what's right can change everything. Emily's story reminds us that family is more than just blood, it's the strength we carry inside us every day. Fairness at work isn't a favor, it's a right everyone deserves. It takes courage to speak up when things feel unfair, but that courage can change more than one life. Sometimes, standing up against injustice shakes the whole system and makes it better for everyone. No matter how hard the fight, hope lives in those who refuse to stay silent, and from that hope, real change begins.